Hello and welcome back to another album review. I know it's been a very long time since I've done this. I've done a YouTube video or let alone an album review. I think the last YouTube video I did was back in January 2020, the anticipated albums of that year. And excuse me if I'm a bit rough with it, but I'll try my best. But I'm back though. I don't know if I will do all the albums I have planned to listen or review, but I will not stress myself over it. I don't think so. Right, let's get into the review. This is The Weeknd, After Hours. The fourth, much anticipated album from Abel, aka The Weeknd, was released way back in March of 2020. Abel continues his journey to the pop side of music, a style that fits him quite well, and it was apparent from his early steps with Beauty Behind the Madness back in 2015. The huge hit Can't Feel My Face was only the beginning, and in 2016 the follow-up to Beauty Behind the Madness, Starboy, was the ultimate transition. Of course, he was still looking for that sound that would make him fresh, different compared to the other artists in the same field. I think with After Hours, Abel does that, even though the 80s influence is heavy on it. That doesn't take away from the quality of this project. He managed to trim down the fat that was on Starboy, and he had a more specific theme and sound compared to Beauty Behind the Madness. Now, this album does start a little rough. Alone Again is an average track and a tone setter that at best, but it suffers from the production things a lot, the mixing is weird, and Abel's voice is buried into the sound. I can barely hear him. Too Late feels lackluster as well. It has the same problems with Alone Again, but at least the production is a bit upbeat and it helps stand out. After that weird start, the track list gets fixed with Hardest to Love. Now we are talking. I can hear Abel, as it should. His voice is clear and especially sad in a more upbeat production, reminiscent enough of 80s music, mostly with those drum kicks and gleamy piano keys. And the song Scared to Live is also a good track, a strong ballad, dramatic, definitely one of the highlights of the first few tracks. The production again seems like something from the 80s in a more specific parts of the track, dense, a bit quirky with those voice sample bits at the back end of the song. And then, then is where the album kicks into a new gear. It starts its most consistent run, that middle section of it, those tracks are like mwah. Those tracks won me over. It starts off with Snowchild, a track where essentially Abel goes retrospective. He talks about his early steps all the way to now. Through his verses he travels us to different eras being like trilogy, Kisslang, his rise with Beauty Behind the Madness as the next big thing, and his establishment with Starboy. The production that accompanies him is low-key, kinda simplistic and futuristic. His voice blends together well, almost in one tone, sounding reminiscing, sad and mellow. Side note, as this review is written or shot way after the album's release, there is visuals for the Snowchild that describe better what I said. And that mellow and sad trip continues with Escape from LA. It's one dreamy, dark, and with lethargic moments track. One of the more storytelling tracks. Abel is singing about that special woman. He is stigmatized by her, even though he has everything from house, cars, wealth. He is nothing without her. He has gave everything to her, and that's still not enough for her to come back. And then he comes to the conclusion that this place, Los Angeles, is a disaster and he wants to leave. He wants to live with her. He wants to live together, and after they leave that place, everything should be back to normal. At the end of the song there is a bridge, a mini story, you can say, where, he has sex in the studio, nothing fancy, the usual from The Weeknd, but here lies the magic of it. The performance, the way he sounds, and the lyrics, one-liners gives the right tone for the song you can put on a night drive and you can vibe to it. Like, honestly, it's late, you're coming back from work, it's dark outside, put this album and go to Escape from LA. And when that break happens, that bridge, you know what I'm talking about, you will know. Afterwards is the first single that came out, Heartless, a banger of a track with Metro Boomin delivering yet again. Abel does his thing with a passionate performance, going back to his old self, the party hungry, I fuck all the bitches Abel, with no feelings, egotistical playboy Abel, playboy Abel, a heartless man, but still having in the back of his mind, eating him away that feel of loneliness and lost love. Next is Faith, another favorite of mine, a multi-layered cut with Metro doing his magic. He delivers us a more synth-based banger with a bit of 80s touch and a dreamy ambient outro. Honestly, you can divide that song into 3 sections. You have that build-up where Abel talks about the substance that he uses to get him happy, high, feeling good about himself, going back to his old self, which leads then to the peak where he breaks, that he gets those withdrawals from the drugs he uses. And then finally there's the outro, a very cinematic one that fades out, leading us to the next song. You could say in this song you see Abel and how he is affected by drugs, reaching that libido, and then how the lows hit him like a motherfucking truck, and he cannot escape. He cannot escape, slowly but surely losing faith in himself. I like how the song connects the next one with different lyrics, and especially the outro, the lights are blinding. As you figured it out, it's Blinding Lights, the second single of the album and the biggest hit of the year. Let me say that again for those in the back. The biggest hit of the year. And some people in the Grammy committee thought that song and that album isn't worthy for a nomination. Good job, Grammys. You fucked it again. I have spoken a lot about the 80s influence and the production. Well, this song is the definition of a modern 80s mega hit. And it doesn't feel like a rip-off or a cheap imitation. The production is amazing, the vocals sound addicting, and I say, shh, the perfect single, bro. After that is a sexy, groovy, and sad In Your Eyes. My favorite song of the album. I loved it from first listen, and I can hear some MJ influence on, but that doesn't take away from it. No, don't get me wrong. Save Your Tear is a very synth-based song, a sleeper hit, and that's it, I think, for that middle section of it. Yep, I think that's it. Generally, I'm glad that Abel adapts that sound to his comfort zone. He could easily abuse the situation, making generic 80s half-ass songs. Instead, we got this beauty. The closing of the album is tricky. I like the songs, but something doesn't sit right with me. Maybe it's the last song, Until I Bleed Out. I don't consider it bad by any means, but that nice, slow, muddy build-up ends abruptly and we left hanging. The repeat after me feels like a leftover toxicity from Trilogy, and if you know me, you know I love that shit. I listen to one part at least once a week. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not something I would want at the back end of this album after that middle section of it. And last but not least, it's the third single, After Hours, and scratch what I said about In Your Eyes, this is my favorite song. Not only in this album, but the whole year. My Spotify Wrapped can confirm that. It's a midnight, eerie at first banger, a 6-minute injection of pure quality music. From the build-up with these crackling cold sounds to that break where the whole vibe changes, it gets more groove and doesn't stop until the end. It goes full throttle at the break. Man, it's amazing. If you know Abel, when a track like this comes up, like 6 minutes or something, you get some very quotable lyrics. I can list them up here in the video, you can see them, I will not say them. Overall, After Hours is Abel's best work since going pop, and I hate using that phrase, I truly do, but it's the only thing that I came up with, and I'm sorry about that. But the matter of fact, it's that. I don't consider Trilogy albums, they are mixtapes compiled into one to call it album. Kissland was something that Abel was like half-assed. Trilogy, half-assed, going more a pop sound. I don't know, man. It's not something that made him go boom. Beauty Behind the Madness did, and Beauty Behind the Madness till now, that's where After Hours is. I think that's his best work. You can say that it had that little rough start and that a bit anticlimactic end, but the whole middle section of it is like, mwah. It's like, I don't know, your mom bakes an apple pie and that crust outside is a little bit burned out, but the inside is so juicy and so mwah, so good, so good, so good. Go listen to the album. It's one of the best albums of 2020. It's a shame that it doesn't get any Grammy nominations. I hope Abel continues that journey. I hope Abel continues to rework himself like he did previously. From Beauty Behind the Madness till now, Abel has changed hairstyle, has changed his look. I hope he does his thing over and over again and gives us something like this. I think this album is like an 8 out of 10. I don't know. I don't get the number. Listen to what I said. Go listen to the album and thank me later, dude. That's it from me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the quality of the video because it's vastly better than the previous one. I got a new camera, I got a new mic. What else can I say? Until the next video, until the next album review, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you like this video, comment down below what you thought of this video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know, and goodbye.